Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the Small Brain Podcast. Today, we're in a small apartment in Sapporo, Japan. But we could be anywhere in the world right now. We could be in Sweden. We could be in fucking Spain. And you would have no idea. We could be in an IKEA department store little display. And you would have no fucking idea, would you? Pathetic. No. Yeah, we're actually in Sapporo. Been in Japan about 3 weeks now. And it's just getting to that point. I've discussed this in previous podcasts, like in Dominica. Where after, that 2 to 3 week mark is when you really start to go a little deeper in the culture. And I don't know, there's probably like some chart that I could pull up right now and show you, like scientifically proven culture shock. But it always starts like the first 3-4 days. You're like, oh my God, wow, this is amazing. The lights, the cameras, what the fuck am I talking about? The fucking, the Japanese materialism, the neon signs, and oh wow, it's so exciting. And then after like a week or two, it starts to fade a little bit, and then I think around week 3 is when shit just kind of starts to annoy you. Like, and it's the little things, and like I wanna be tasteful about this. This is 10 things that I love and hate about Japan. I will say some negative things about Japan, and therefore probably getting the Japanese mob after me after all the Vietnamese saga and the India shit. It seems like anytime I open my mouth and I'm honest about a country, well, the locals really don't like that, do you? The locals want the Kara and Nate stuff. They want that Kara and Nate bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They want, oh wow, 5-star experience. Oh, first class train. Oh, they want you to show the world the best of their country. And I'm not trying to show the worst in any country. I'm just showing my experience, okay? So if you don't like my experience, well, you can get fucked, okay? Because that's my life. And what am I even saying? If you disagree with what I'm doing, well, that's too fucking bad. Start your own YouTube channel. How about that? So with that, let's get started. This is 10 things I love and hate about Japan. And by the way, little caveat, I love Japan. It's the greatest nation on the planet. Well, USA number 1, Japan number 2. But like, it's, if we're being honest, if we're being adults here, if we're not being like fucking polished, just circle jerk content, this is any place in the world. Okay. My country, greatest country on the planet. Lots of problems. Okay. Lots of problems. And I know a lot of you really want me to talk about what sucks in the US. Maybe I'll do that one day. But for now, I enjoy traveling, so I'm not going to do that. Again, if you want to show what sucks in America, you start a YouTube channel. Okay? All you Indians out there, go to LA, go to Skid Row. Yeah, I know it sucks. And by the way, Skid Row is legitimately dangerous. No one goes to downtown LA. Nobody. It's a no-go zone. Okay? If you have a bank account and a social security number, you don't belong in downtown LA. Okay? All right? I'm not going to legitimately risk my life just for an internet beef where you're like, oh, do this. Your country sucks more than mine. Well, it's much better, but it's more dangerous. Anyways, enough of my right-wing propaganda. Let's get into it. 10 things I love and hate about Japan. Number 1 is the politeness. Okay? And a few of these things I'm going to mention, it's like you're looking at a coin, and one of the sides is a great part of the aspect, and then the other side is a negative side of that. Like, it's, how do I put this? I've had this theory for a while that, like, sometimes the best part about a country or anything, a person, a food, anything, is oftentimes the worst part also. So, case in point right here. Number 1, the politeness. Everyone is extremely polite. They will go out of their way to help you. There is a huge societal expectation of Japanese people to behave a certain way, to be great ambassadors for their country. People are just so kind in Japan, and especially for foreigners, if they see you struggling on the train. Like, case in point, the first day I ever got to Japan, I was moving here. I was 24. I was 24 years old. I was moving to Japan to teach English. All right. I had 2 big suitcases full of all my possessions, no Japanese comprehension, not even a fucking SIM card, dude. Not even a SIM card. And I get off the plane super jet lagged. I'm walking around the convenience stores looking at all the cool little, oh man, look at the text is different. Oh wow. Like just immediate, like insane culture shock, because it's one thing to go to the UK or Spain or Romania or even Vietnam, where they use like the same letters that we do, the same symbols to write out the words. But in Japan, it's not. They have 3 separate alphabets. They don't use the English style letters. So it just feels different. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'll just look at everything. This is so cool. I was just literally walking around a fucking convenience store after like a 15-hour flight. And then it comes time, it hits me. I'm like, okay, shit, I got to go meet this guy who's moving me into my apartment. So I need to get on a train, the Shinkansen. But first I had to like go from the airport to the Shinkansen station. But to get there, I had to take a local train. And so I look on a map and I just kind of like do that little thing where you're kind of like gyrating around and you're trying to see which way the GPS is pointing you. And I saw that like my location I needed to go was south or something. And so I just get on a train that's headed south. I didn't look at a map. I didn't ask for directions. I didn't use Google Maps. I was just like, all right, it's going that direction, so let's just get on this train. But it's fucking Tokyo, dude. It's Tokyo. It's not, shit is not sweet out here. And I just get on a train, jam-packed Tokyo train, by the way. If you're lost in Tokyo, it's a mind fuck. You're being like assaulted with information and all these different transfer points and all these different rail lines. Like in Japan, if you get on like the JR line, okay, well, the JR line doesn't go all the way you need to, so you have to get off, go out of the train station, transfer to the Keihan line, go 3 more stops, transfer to the fucking other local. Like, there's not a monopoly on trains. It's not like just a publicly owned thing. It's like there's a bunch of different companies. It's privately owned companies. So a lot of times, shit is confusing. Shit is really confusing. Anyways, I'm meandering so hard right now. But anyways, I get on this train and I'm super lost, and I turn to the guy next to me and I was just like, I don't know where to go. Like in English, I had no Japanese skills whatsoever. And so he gets off with me at the next stop. He goes to the station master. The station master explains to me in English, you need to go here, transfer here. This is how much the ticket is. Tell them you're going. Like, he gave me step-by-step information on exactly how to get to where I was going. And it was just a really heartwarming moment and just like a warm welcome to Japan. Like, I felt super comfortable in Japan with no language skills, barely half a fucking brain cell to get me around, and like the people just kind of escorted me around, and it was a really excellent first impression for Japan. Excellent first impression. And that was when I knew I was going to feel at home here. You know what I'm saying? It's because the people were so polite. That guy didn't want to help me, you know what I mean? Like, he was probably on his way to work, or like he was busy, and I like fucked up his day, but he was happy to show me the right way. So I mean, real talk, like that's what sets Japan apart is the people. I mean, they're so polite, but at the same time, I think that puts like a big kind of pressure on them to like perform for foreigners. Like, kind of, I just can't imagine like that feels very good for him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think like from a Japanese people's perspective, like, yeah, there's a lot of pressures on them to get married by the time they're 30, to get a great job right when they graduate college, to get the perfect internship when you're in college. Like, academically, socially, there's a lot of pressure here to perform. I mean, there's even a Japanese proverb that says, the nail that sticks out gets hammered down, and real shit. So not to get too dark, but is what it is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, oftentimes the best part of the place, the politeness, actually leads to like serious problems in the country. Like the suicide rate and like the what's it called when you don't have kids? I don't know. People aren't having kids. People aren't dating. People aren't having sex. They're not meeting other people in person. They're doing it online, and there's just a lot of pressure to perform. And anyways, I'm just kind of rambling now, but yeah, shout out Japanese people. They go through a lot. They're just super sturdy, like wholesome, kind-hearted individuals, and they just make it so worth it to come to Japan. But on the other side of that, as a foreigner, sometimes, and a lot of times, you'll get like the kind of white privilege over here. Like, they see you're a foreigner, so they don't necessarily hold you to the same standards as them. Even if I lived here for 30 years. They would see me and be like, oh, ohashi jozu, or like, wow, your Japanese is so good, or like, you can use chopsticks, amazing. Like, they kind of treat you like a kid sometimes, for better or worse. you know. But some people do, especially older people, especially the older people in Japan. They hold you to like the same standard as them, especially with like cleanliness. Anyways, we'll get to that in a second. But they just have a higher collective standard for things. Like, if there's a certain rule and you're breaking it, they'll be very passive aggressive about it. Like, and I think that's where that politeness, the other side of that politeness comes in. Like, they're not necessarily going to like oust you. They're not going to scream at you, but they will make it obvious that you are fucking up, you know? And I guess you could say that's a good thing. It's better than like India where they'll just shout at you. They'll shout you down and be very aggressive about it. In Japan, at least they're a little more polite, but still it doesn't feel good like when you're breaking a rule and someone's just like, Which leads me to my next point is pro in Japan, how clean it is. I don't have to tell you. I mean, this is like the number one stereotype of Japan. It's extremely clean. The streets look like fucking Disney World everywhere you go. Immaculately clean. Like, people are sweeping outside of their shops. They're rinsing off the sidewalk in the morning right when they open. I mean, it's the level of cleanliness is unmatched by us Western white savages. They really have it figured out here over in Japan. We could learn a thing or two. Looking at you, Whitey. But so it's really clean. But again, that's societal expectation. If you're not as clean as they are, you'll be judged. You know, so you kind of do have to like up your ante. You have to up your standards. Like Sarah and I got a gym membership recently, and the shoes thing is crazy here. They go nuts for shoes. Like so first of all, to get a membership to this place, you have to have a pair of indoor shoes. Who has indoor shoes? Do you have indoor shoes you've never worn outside? I didn't think so. I don't think anybody does, unless they're like slippers or like little slides, flip-flops maybe flip-flops, but not like a pair of athletic. You're not wearing your fucking Mizunos inside only. But I guess that's the thing here in Japan. So I had to show up to the gym, and I brought my fucking outdoor shoes. Don't tell the gym. Please don't tell Gold's Gym Odori. Don't tell them. But I just essentially brought a backpack with my indoor shoes in it and then wore my slides to the gym. I get to the gym, I change out of the slides, but they can't go on the bathroom floor because that would be very unsanitary, which I get. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying these shouldn't exist. This is just me commentating on them, okay? So don't come for me. You go to the gym, you walk in, you leave your slides at the bottom of like the stairs to get to the bathroom or locker room. Understood? Completely with you there. Walk in, change, walk out of the bathroom without your shoes on. And then when you're stepping off the bathroom platform, you're supposed to put your indoor shoes on and then go to the gym floor, work out. But here's the thing that gets me is if I'm doing yoga or stretching on a yoga mat, I'm supposed to take off the indoor shoes. Why? They're indoor shoes. I mean, and let's be honest. I know I shot myself in the foot with this one, being very honest to you. I told you I was wearing my outdoor shoes inside. So you know what? I'm gonna walk that back. I understand how I'm a white, dirty savage, and I understand why they look down on us. I really do. Because now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, oh yeah, I shouldn't. If I wore them outside, I shouldn't fucking put them on the mat. But even just for Japanese people, let's say everyone else is following the rules but me. Why should they have to take off their indoor shoes to go on a mat to stretch if they're indoor shoes and they never stepped foot outside? Explain me that, viewer. I'll let you think on that one. Yeah, stuff like that I don't get. It seems like it's a bit overkill for like what they're trying to accomplish. Like, you got to buy a whole ass separate pair of shoes. You have to be super mindful about where you step with them, and like, it's a gym. I don't understand like why the shoes need to be immaculately clean. Like, it's a bench press. I mean, like, they have a yoga area, you know what I'm saying? But like, if you take off your shoes for that anyways, why couldn't you just wear outdoor shoes? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're stepping in the yoga area with shoes on, and then to get on the mat, you take your shoes off. Well, I'm not following. Like, I'm really not following. Everything else, there's machines, there's treadmills. Why do you need to wear indoor shoes on a treadmill? Like, who is that for? You know, it seems like they're just And this is another thing, I'll add this to the list, is Japanese people excel at everything they do. There is this huge, dude, okay, so prime example. Japan has a population of around, wait, let me ask Siri. Let's ask Siri. What's the population of Japan?
In 2023, the population of Japan was 124,631,000.
Okay, 124 million people. They have the world's third largest economy. Okay, I think Pakistan has like 400 million, something like that. Let's ask Siri. What's the population of Pakistan?
As of 2022, the population of Pakistan was 249,566,000.
Okay, so Japan has, what I'm trying to get at is like the world's most populous countries: Indonesia, China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, maybe Brazil, America, probably Russia, honestly. Dude, Japan. God, I'm awful at this. What I'm trying to say is Japan has a small population and they have the world's third largest economy. They surpass Korea. Dude, the only people that are above Japan are the USA and China. Okay, think about the populations of those countries. The USA's population is like 330, 340 million. China is like 1.2 billion or something. And then Japan is a measly 125 million. So literally, China has almost 10 times the population of Japan, and they're in the same ballpark as far as economies go. What I'm trying to get at is like the GDP or gross domestic product per capita, like how much the country is creating in a year is matched with a country that's 10 times as big as theirs is. And also the USA. Like, bro, the output these people are able to accomplish, I know I just said that in like a very circuitous fucking oblong way, but here's the point. The output that Japan is able to create in the world is astounding. For their population, they make so much. They are so fucking productive. And now that I've come to my conclusion, I forget where I was even heading with this. It's that societal expectation. It's that like you're gonna be the best at something. Daisuke, my friend, one of the best ramen shops in the country. Japan has some of the best technology. They make some of the best food in the world, like some of the nicest people. They're just the best. Like they have this elite mentality where they want to succeed. But at the same time, there's downsides to that. Like they go so above and beyond what they need to do with the cleanliness stuff. It's like, who is this helping? Like, I don't think there's actually a need for this level of like try hardness, if that makes sense. Like the shoot thing, I don't understand. And also like, and this leads me to my next point is the bureaucratic state in Japan. Like, again, we're looking at one coin. One of the sides is like, they're super effective at everything they do. They're some of the best performers in the world. The cars, the food, the culture, the people, everything. But on the other side of that is like, dude, their bureaucracy, like the amount of paperwork they do, the way the government functions is like extremely, there's a lot of gridlock. Like, or not gridlock like we have in the US, like where we're infighting, but more so like, things just move slow as fuck. Like Japan's been really slow to legalize same-sex marriage. For marijuana charges in Japan, I don't want to say this too loud because I'm in a tiny apartment, but if you're a foreigner and you bring weed in Japan, you're banned for life. You go to prison. Like, it's not a joke. Like, if you're a white dude and you like hitting your vape pen, do not bring it to Japan. You will be fucked in the ass by the Japanese government. It will not be good. Although I've heard Japanese jail is kind of lit. Like, they give you nice food and whatever. Don't do it, okay? Please don't do it. Like, shit is bad. Do not hit a vape pen out here. But I'm just meandering like a motherfucker today. Yeah, I've been really wanting to make a podcast. It's been gnawing at me, so I think this might be a little longer one. We're only like 3 deep on our list of 10, so sit tight. But yeah, like they're just really slow to change here in Japan, and like that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like they have their traditions, they don't want to adapt too much to the outside world, but at the same time, yeah, it's just like the paperwork you experience in Japan is unmatched to anywhere else in the world that I've been. Like there was one episode where I went to Fukushima and I wanted to rent a Geiger counter, like the thing that tells you how much radioactivity is in a certain area. And I went to like the community center to rent one. I thought it'd be easy. I was like, I'm exploring, like, can I just get one for the day and just bring it back? And they're like, no, well, if you're leaving our jurisdiction, like, you have to rent it with this other jurisdiction. And I'm like, bro, like, I got cash money out. Like, why don't we just sort this out? And that's like, you know, it's times like that where I miss sometimes like countries like Vietnam or Colombia, where like shit just happens fast. If you got the cash, like, you can make it happen. But in Japan, there's so many like bureaucratic steps you have to like go through, so many little hoops you have to jump through. It's like shit can be really daunting sometimes. Yeah. So again, a lot of these are like good things, you know what I'm saying? Like things that if you're here for like 2 or 3 weeks, it's great. But then I think as you spend a little longer in the country, you understand the culture a little more, you start to see some downsides, you know what I mean? And the gym thing, small thing, right? Like Japan is still extremely livable. I want to move here someday, maybe start a life here, fucking have a little family and stuff. It's just a great, that's a whole nother podcast, but it's just a great place for families. It's a great place for kids. It's a great place just to live long term. It's like such a great environment for all those reasons. But, you know, there are some downsides. So let's talk about an upside. Let's talk about one of the reasons Japan is the greatest nation on the goddamn planet. It's better than your country. It's better than my country. It's definitely better than your country. Let's be honest. Is the SIGs inside? What other country can you just rip SIGs in? Okay, maybe Afghanistan, fucking Iraq, shit like that. Maybe Colombia, some places. What other developed country? What other country can you feel safe in and rip SIGs inside? Name one. Name one, coward. Name one. I can't think of any. It used to be in the greatest nation on earth, America. We used to be able to rip SIGs inside. Fucking Obama took that away. Took our guns. Took our cigarettes. What's next? The Zin? You can't take my Zin. Come and take it. Honestly, like the SIGs inside, they just fucking hit. They hit. You're 3 beers deep in izakaya. You know what I'm saying? You've been in Osaka for 4 days. You're still kind of getting used to the culture. You pop into an izakaya, have 3 or 4 beers. Guy next to you starts ripping a cig. You're like, I didn't know we could do that. Give me one. You start ripping cigs. Before you know it, you're fucking addicted. Okay? And by the way, I don't know if you knew this, Americans, Canadians, fucking North Americans thinking you're better than everybody. Smoking isn't bad for you. Okay? It's only bad for you in your country. It's not bad for me here. So let me rip my cigs in peace. They have smoking cars. They have fucking little perforated little areas off the sidewalk where you go rip cigs. It's like a little pool where you're all just ripping together. In the train, they have a little smoking car. Bro. And then you get on a plane like a peasant in fucking international airspace. They don't let you smoke. Fuck. This world's going to shit. Yeah, it's the SIGs inside, man. It's beautiful. Once you experience it, you might not even be a smoker. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? You might not even be a smoker. But you might be one of those people that when they smell cigarette smoke inside, they get all offended. Oh, well, your rights end where my nose begins. Get fucked. You'll never know the pleasure of cigs inside. And once you do, once you take, your life is different. Your life is different after that, baby. Ooh, the pleasure of the cigs inside. Cigs outside, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. But the cig inside, bro, nothing. Oh. If you're at a baseball game in America, where are you supposed to rip cigs? Where? Outside the stadium? No. Not with the smoking laws in America. You can't smoke within like 15 feet of an entrance. In Japan, they make a special room for you with fans that like filter out all the cancer. That's what makes it not bad, guys. It's a beautiful thing, and you're all smoking cigs in there together. It's a brotherhood, cig brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? And if you're in America, oh, I like to vape. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you think you like vaping. You think you like vaping until you rip a cig inside. then your whole world has changed. You're like, this can't be bad for you. This feels so good. There's absolutely no way. No. So sit with that, dear viewer. Sit with that information. Let it simmer. Let it marinate. Wait on it a week. Listen to this again. All right? But just, you'll come to our side. You'll come to our side. Come to Japan. 3 or 4 chew highs deep. Someone lights that cig. Just try it. Just try it. Man. What a terrible influence I've become. Another thing is the timeliness of Japanese people. The trains, beautiful. They arrive on time. Maybe a couple minutes early. They'll give you a special receipt on your train ticket if it arrives late. And it's not your fault. As you're like checking out of the station, they'll give you a special kind of pass or whatever that says, hey, employer or doctor or, ex-wife, estranged children. It's not my fault I was late. It was the goddamn train. It was fucking 34 seconds late. And henceforth, I am late to see you. And it's not because I don't love you. It's not because I resent you after the divorce. It's just the fucking train. The fucking train, man. That driver should fucking kill himself, huh? Man, trains these days. Yeah, the timeliness. But then again, if you're on the other side of that, if you fuck up, well, it's not going to be a good day for you. When I was teaching English in Osaka back in the day, on our days off, they gave us like short-term contracts to teach English in middle schools. And so I picked up this one contract, and I was headed to, basically all the teachers met at this subway station outside of town, and then we would all walk to the school together. And we would arrive probably like 30 to 40 minutes early, and then we'd kind of get our shit together and whatever. And honestly, we'd just kind of sit around for the 30 or 40 minutes and then go in. Because let's be honest, if you're an English teacher in Japan, how much planning actually goes into it? Honestly, I mean, you're just reading a fucking script. You're just like a script monkey reading your... I mean, I'm sure, yeah, there's pros out there, but I was not a pro. Absolutely not. We would just show up, fuck around, scroll Twitter, and then go and teach some kids. And so we're supposed to arrive at the station, let's say around like 10 o'clock, and then walk to the school. Lesson starts at like 11. And I missed my train, so I was one train behind. I think I was like between 3 and 5 minutes late. It was something really small. And I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, we'll still arrive. We'll get there super early. Whatever. They don't need me. But I arrived to the train station, and everybody was gone. They had all left me. Everybody. They were like, oh, there's no time. We can't wait 4 minutes for Connor. No, we have to get to school early and appear to be trying hard. That's what we have to do. So I arrived late, and then I had to walk like the half mile or whatever to the school. Very scared, by the way. I was jogging. You know what I'm saying? I was jogging back in the day. A little more fit, you know what I'm saying? And very scared. I mean, honestly, when you're in Japan, and like as a tourist, it's different, right? But I had a job, so like there was an expectation of me. And man, the social anxiety, it fucking hits. Dude, Japan's social anxiety hits like nothing else because they're just so on the ball with everything. And if you're fucking up, well, you're the odd man out. And guess what, buddy? The nail that sticks out is getting hammered the fuck down. And I felt like I was getting hammered in the worst way possible. So I was sprinting to the school. I arrive. I see my supervisor. I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry. This won't happen again. She's like, yes, you were very late. We were very worried about you. And like the students, what if you were, what if, oh, this is so bad. You know? And in my mind, I'm late for fucking everything. I was a chronic stoner in America. Like, the fact that I was 3 minutes late is like a goddamn miracle in my eyes. I was like doing great, you know? I was fully employed. You know what I'm saying? I was 3 minutes late. I mean, come on. We were crushing it. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's not how they saw it. That's not how they saw it whatsoever. There was a big burden on me. And then I went home and drank myself into a coma. No. I did drink a lot in Japan. I did drink. That was like the time where I was like, I joked with my friends at the time. I was like the most employed I had ever been, because before that, if you don't know, I made a podcast detailing all the embarrassing jobs I've ever worked before I moved to Japan and got my life together as a teacher, in quotes. But holy fuck, I'm just rambling. This is just stream of consciousness as a bitch right now. What were we even talking about? Honestly, what were we even talking about? I completely forgot. I don't do drugs. I really don't, but... What the fuck? Oh, yeah. Talking about how much I drank back in the day. I'm like, oh, I can't remember. Maybe those things are related, Connor. Maybe you should seek therapy and memory supplements. But I joked with my friends at the time. I was like the most employed I had ever been, and also the most alcoholic I had ever been. Because on my days off, we would go on hikes and drink all day, and then go out all night and drink. And like the fucking $65 I made that day teaching English, I would go spend 120 of it. So, you know, actually by the end of the time I left Japan, it was a year, I actually broke even. So I didn't drink myself in the hole, but I did not save any money after a year of working. But you know what? It's fine. Like, it's fine. I was young. I was having fun. Honestly, teaching English in Japan is like one of the most fun times of my life. I mean, even now I'm a YouTuber. My life's still pretty great. But like just then, like, bro, zero expectations outside of work. You know what I'm saying? And work was still, they didn't really ask much of you. It's a pretty deadbeat job that I had. And that's not to, offend any of the English teachers out there, but where I was working, bro, it was not the cream of the crop. Not professional English teachers. Yeah, no, it was not. But what I was trying to say was, does this make me really good at podcasting or really bad? Because I feel like I can talk endlessly, but I'm just talking in circles, and I feel like I'm not saying anything. I don't know. We'll check the retention after this and see how you guys feel about it. But, maybe all the drinking was because of all the social anxiety I felt, because shit is bonkers in Japan. I know I'm joking saying like outside of work it was fine, but it's the small things, you know what I mean? And Japan is just like a very much rules-based society, and like coming from the West, we're very much like, we praise people who break the rules. We praise inventors and entrepreneurs that create new standards for people. Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, fucking Bill Gates, like Jeff Bezos. And those might be polarizing guys, maybe not the best examples, but like still, you can look up to them. Mark Cuban, you know what I mean? Like guys that like set a new standard. But in Japan, it's not really about that. It's about like following the rules, doing what other people have done, not really innovating. And that's kind of sad, you know what I mean? Like, but it is the way it is. And if you're coming here, that's what you should expect, But honestly, I love it. I wouldn't change it. We're only 3 weeks deep. And I could still use some more. I could, another couple months, maybe 3 months, 3 years, maybe 30 years. I don't know. Maybe I'll retire here. Maybe I'll never leave. I don't know. At this point in the podcast, you probably either love me or hate me. Okay? I understand. This is a very polarizing style. I'm just fucking yapping. But, just coked up thoughts. You know what I mean? Coked up thoughts. Okay. The next one. I love this about Japan. This is why I think I can move here permanently. It's just a great place for almost everybody. It has this great sense of adventure, and it's so safe and so clean, and like all the other stuff I've talked about before. As you can see, Japan is like a complex onion with many, many layers, some good, some bad, but at the end of the day, like, it's still a very delicious onion, caramelized, you know what I'm saying, a little red wine in there. Bring out the sweetness. It's a very good onion. I will eat it 9 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10. I love Japan. But, there's good and bad to everything. There's good and bad to everything. But I think, like, what you're able to film here as a YouTuber, just experience here, if you're a tourist just coming here, it's incredible. Like, they have so many weird, quirky little things, weird little villages with just very bizarre stuff, and I hope to show you guys some of that, like on this big trip I'm doing across Japan. It's like very unique country, very safe, bunches of characters. People are way friendlier than you would expect. They're way friendlier in Tokyo. They're way friendlier than Tokyo, way friendlier than Kyoto. Osaka, I'd say has some of the friendliest people on the planet. But once you get off the beaten path, it's just such a rewarding, enriching place to spend your time. Food's great, you know what I'm saying? All kinds of nature. Like, I just think it just has such a unique sense of adventure that's wrapped up in like a very safe, comfortable place to live. Very comfortable living in Japan. Very, very comfortable. Yeah, everything's taken care of. Like, I feel like Japan is just like a loving mother taking you in her arms, telling you it's going to be okay. Like, dude, and which leads me to my next point. Dear viewer, this isn't scatterbrained. This isn't harebrained. I didn't rip the bong before this. This is a well thought out podcast. Hell, some people make whole ass empires just sitting in front of a camera and speaking. Maybe that's where we're headed. I don't know. But for now, I just enjoy doing it. And if you like it, leave a review on Spotify. Go subscribe on Spotify, guys. Let's go build the audience over there, you know what I'm saying? Let's get some fucking HelloFresh ad reads in this bitch, okay? Let's try to give you boys some longevity with this, because I feel like right now I'm just losing money on the podcast, which is fine. It's a passion project. I lost money on YouTube for like 3 years straight, so happy to do it. But it would be nice if I could get a few checks rolling in from Spotify here pretty soon. So, yeah, share it with your friends. I feel like there's not many travel podcasts like this. They're all very like top 5 in Bali, budget $150 room. Look at me. I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, there's not any like real Phil from the Two Beers Till Takeoff podcast. That's real shit. That's raw shit. Or Shafir has a nice podcast about travel. But yeah, other than that, it's like there's nobody in this space. Like, come on, guys, share it with your friends. You know they would like this, or they would hate it. Maybe you hate it. I don't know. Okay, so I was saying Japan takes care of you. I have notes. I took notes, guys. This is not harebrained. This is well thought out. Okay? The convenience. The convenience is unmatched in Japan. The convenience stores are open 24/7. If you're in any big city, you will not starve. You can get a rice ball for like 95 cents. You can get a chew high for like 87 cents. You can get a little bento box for like $2. I mean, dude, shit hits. Shit hits hard when, dude, I just love Japanese convenience store. You walk in anytime. They're not going to judge you. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter if you're stinking drunk. It doesn't matter if you have $2 in your pocket. They're going to welcome you with open arms. It's going to be air conditioned in the summer. It's going to be heated in the winter. They're going to say, "Irashimasen." When you walk in, they're going to welcome you. You know what I'm saying? It feels good as fuck. It's like Waffle House 2 a.m. vibes, kind of. A little more sanitized, a little more hospitally in Japanese convenience stores. But it just feels so good. Like, just get whatever you want at any time of day, you know? And that goes for everything else. Like, if you're in a big city, there's going to be a huge mall. They're going to have an H&M. They're going to have, like, your fucking cosmetics. They're going to have fucking toilet paper. They're going to have everything you want. They're going to have shirts. They're going to have shoes. They're going to have hats. Like, they're going to have MacBooks. They're going to have fucking Insta360s. They're going to have fucking Coca-Colas. I don't know. I'm just naming items in my room now. But they will have it. Like, it's, if you need something, they have it. Like, to me, for that reason, that just puts Japan so high up on the list of countries. Like, dude, we were just in Dominica for a month. Bro, jack shit in Dominica. Jack fucking shit for convenience. You go to, like, the corner grocery store, and they have, like, canned sausages and, like, frozen chicken thighs and, like, dehydrated beans and, like, dehydrated rice and, like, bro, like, it was hard to eat good in Dominica. And I feel like in Japan it's so easy. Like, it's just like the standard of everything is just higher. And I think that's kind of like what wraps up all this stuff in a nice little bow. It's like things are just done better. And so people will expect more from you, which sucks sometimes. But I think once you get your head wrapped around that and you kind of like elevate your game, like, shit is just amazing in Japan. It's just amazing. And, I said I came on here to, like, talk a little shit, you know what I'm saying? Give some jabs to Japan. But at the end of the day, like, there's not much you can say, man. I mean, yeah, there's some stuff wrong here and there, but if you're just, especially if you're just a tourist coming here for a couple weeks, like, bro, you have no problems. Like, yeah, maybe you don't like the Japanese food. Maybe you're not a fan of, like, the Eastern collectivist mindset. But guess what, buddy? You're going home in 7 days. So, like, does it really matter? You know? Plus, it's just such an eye-opening experience to come to Japan. Like, I thought I had traveled well before. I'd been to, like, Western Europe and, like, Canada and shit. And that was pretty much it by the time I came here. And I was like, oh, I've seen it all, done it all. Let's fuck. Just like a fucking mid-20s white guy. The confidence that only a mid-20s white guy can have. But I was like, yeah, seen it all, done it all. Let's go to Japan. And it just, like, completely blew my mind. It's like, and dude, Japan is like the Eastern equivalent to the U.S. Like, people in Vietnam, the Philippines, Indonesia, they want to come to Japan and, like, have better lives and, like, make more money and be able to support their families. And Japan is just, like, it's a much more developed Asian nation. It's kind of like the U.S. Like, we're a very developed Western nation. Now, Japan's a very developed Eastern nation. And, yeah, shit's just nice out here, man. Shit's just really nice. And, yeah, you should just come to Japan. Just come to Japan. What are you waiting for? Book the ticket. Get the fucking credit card with the points. Use the Capital One card. I'm going to link in the description. Okay? This is a plug, yeah. But guess what? I use it all the time. I'm signing up for cards all the time. My credit score, it's actually pretty good. My credit score is pretty good. And that's what people always say. Like, oh, you get the credit card and your score's going to go down. No, well, it goes down for like a month and then it just pops right back up. So unless you're going to buy a house like in the next year, just get the fucking card. Get the card. Get the points. It's a free flight. Boom. Done. You're done. Okay? Game over. Your mind's going to be fucking blown. What are we even talking about? Yeah, so I think I've already touched on this. But things fucking work here. The trains come on time. The convenience stores are open. All the employees and all the stores really give a fuck about you. All the crosswalk signs work. Dude, my friend Daisuke came to Ohio. We went to go see a music show in Ohio. And fucking, like, we had some time to kill after the show. And we're like, oh, let's just go walk around. Or it was before the show. It was still daylight. And Daisuke was like, oh, let's just walk around Dayton, Ohio. Let's just see what's going on in Dayton. Let's see what's cracking. So we walk around just kind of aimlessly, as one does, as I would do in Sapporo or anywhere else in Japan, or really anywhere else in the world except for my own country. There you go. I gave you something, Indians and Vietnamese people. Look, that part sucks about America. There you go. You're welcome. You're very welcome. I did not bow out of racism. I bowed like an actor would, or like winning a Grammy. Whatever. Is this hard to listen to? I don't know. It's hard for me to like keep up what's actually going on in my head. Okay, so we're walking around Dayton, Ohio, just fucking bumbling around, and we find ourselves like kind of in the hood, dude. Like abandoned houses, like glass on the street, like condom wrappers, fast food wrappers, people just screaming all over the place. Give me my fucking money. Oh, like schizos just scream. Dude, American cities are fucked, bro. They are fucked beyond belief. Like, I don't know if I want to raise a family in America. Like, that shit is tough out there, dude. Really, in Western Europe, too. Like, I mean, America is like the shining fucking example, or used to be. But now we're the shining example of fucking fentanyl and gun deaths, homicides. But, you know, we're walking around, like, just trying to show my Japanese friends a good time. And, like, it was embarrassing, dude. It was fucking embarrassing. Crosswalk sign doesn't work. Guys are fucking shaking with schizophrenia or epilepsy or whatever the fuck. Like, it's like a fucking open-air mental hospital in America. Shit is tough, dude. But here in Japan, everything's everything works. Everything's clean. Everything's on time. But again, there is that price. There is that pressure that you feel as a tourist if you stay here long enough, and that the locals feel. But if you ask like Japanese salarymen who have been at the same job for 18 years, like, they gotta fucking keep moving up. They gotta keep, you know what I'm saying? It's like a very competitive, cutthroat culture, but at the same time, that's how they have gotten to where they are. It's like all the best artists, all the best musicians, all the best entrepreneurs. I mean, I read Elon Musk's biography. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. It was a good book. I promise I'm not a right-wing conspiracy theorist, but he does have a lot of good stuff to say. I'm just saying look into it. But, you know, the man's never happy. But he's, like, essentially curing cancer. I mean, he's, like, taking us to Mars, and he's doing some amazing things. And what I'm trying to say is, like, the most successful people, successful countries in this example are oftentimes kind of miserable, you know? People maybe aren't so happy in their interpersonal lives. Maybe they don't feel great professionally, whatever it may be. But there's always like that something off kilter a little bit. Because they're performing like motherfuckers. Dude, if they have the population of the U.S., they may be the biggest economy in the world. I don't know. Look that up. Put that on the screen, editor. I don't know. Anyways, one last thing I want to leave with you guys from Japan. The best part of the country. It's the gambling. You know, after a long day of being all buttoned up at work, being a salaryman, selling some fucking insurance, nothing quite hits like gambling your family's life savings away at the pachinko parlor. That feeling can't be topped. Anyways, guys, like I said, I love Japan very much. I could live here. I probably will one day. But again, there's just certain things. This is just me commentating on it. It's not. I don't wish these things went away. I love these things about Japan. Like I said, you can't like throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, it's so great. Or the reason that it has bad things wrong with it is because of these amazing things that make it such a great place to live. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, fucking subscribe, please, wherever you're listening to this. Go listen on Spotify. Soon we're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything episode where I let my patrons kind of dictate what we talk about in the episode. So if you want to be part of that, join the Patreon right now. The cheapest tier is $3 a month. It goes up to $5 a month. You get exclusive videos, extended cut videos, uncensored stuff I could never say on YouTube. So yeah, thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for hanging out. This was a little bit more of a long one. I feel like I had a lot to say about Japan. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.